You started in the same place, same values, same vision for the future, same direction. But 20 years have a way of pulling people down different paths sometimes. And now you're looking at each other across a gap that's been quietly growing, wondering whether the distance between you is a problem to solve or just you, who you've both become. This is week 5 when you've grown in different directions. I'm Coach Shaun, and this is the series, This is the Marriage We're Building Now. A weekly devotional series for couples in their middle years who are ready to stop going through the motions and start building something real together. This one comes straight from my book, The Marriage We're Building Now. So let's get into it for today, or for this week. 20 years. You're now looking at each other across a growing gap, wondering if the distance is a problem to solve or a reality to accept. And whether accepting it means the marriage is in trouble. Did you somewhere along the way change your mind about things that you once were very certain about? Because 20 years have a way of pulling people along different paths. One of you found a career that changed how you see the world. The other discovered a faith you hadn't expected. One started needing more quiet times, more quiet around them. The other discovered needing more adventure. These are all values. Somewhere along the way, one of you changed your mind about the things that you once were certain about. And now you're looking at each other across a growing gap. Here's what I want to say about that. Growth is good. The fact that you've both changed over the 20 odd years isn't a failure. It's a sign that you've been living. You've had experiences that shaped you. You've questioned things. You've arrived at new convictions. And that's not a problem. That's just being human. But it does create a real challenge in marriage and in the relationship. How do you stay connected to someone who isn't who they used to be when you aren't who you used to be either? The first mistake many couples make is treating divergence like it's a betrayal. It's not. Your spouse didn't grow in a different direction to spite you. They became who they've become through the same messy, honest process you did. Neither of you agreed to stay frozen at the version you were when you got married. The second mistake I notice is trying to close every gap. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to have identical politics, identical spiritual lives, identical visions of retirement. You just need enough overlap, enough shared values, enough mutual respect, and enough commitment to each other to keep building together. Here's what actually kills marriages. Not the difference, but contempt for the differences. It's the slow erosion of respect that happens when you stop being curious about your spouse's evolution and change, and you start resenting it instead. The path forward isn't finding someone who never changes. It's about building a marriage strong enough to hold two people who do. That means staying curious, getting to know the person that they are now and that they've become, asking what shaped the new convictions, listening to their journey, not just judging their destination. Have you grown in different directions? Maybe. But that doesn't mean you can't keep choosing to face the same one together. Here are the questions to sit with together this week. In what ways have you each grown or changed most significantly over the course of your marriage? What ways? Is there a growing gap you've noticed, but you actually haven't called it out loud to each other? Made it known? What do you still have in common? What's at the center of your marriage that hasn't shifted? And then, can you be genuinely curious without judgment about who your spouse is becoming? And here's this week's practice. This is something to implement and apply. Pick one belief, one interest, or one value your spouse holds that you don't fully share. And then spend part of this week genuinely learning about it. Not to adopt it, not to debate it, just to understand it and why it matters to them. And then tell them one thing you found genuinely interesting. The point isn't to find absolute agreement on everything. It's proof that you're still curious about who they are becoming. I find values to be one of the most critical, controversial, contradicting areas in marriages. Simply because we never look at them at what matters and what's changing and how it's shifted and where we align with those or don't align with those. And so this exercise, I think, is like so very, very important. Part of the marriage counseling, or not so much counseling, marriage coaching that I do, is in fact to highlight these areas and understand them and how they work. So that's what I want to encourage you with, is really take time to work through these questions and apply this exercise for this week, this challenge for this week in your marriage relationship. So until next week, this is Coach Shaun in your corner.